So I'm down. Excuse me. I'm down 16 pounds since last Monday. And how I've done it is a little unconventional. Um, Last Monday I started fasting, and I basically go throughout the day with salty water or like right before bed. If I'm feeling like I want to eat some food or something like that, I get a big giant mason jar and I make some chicken stock or beef stock or broth or whatever it is. And I basically semi break my fast before bed and drink my stock kind of slow. And then I go to bed. It helps me sleep. It feels really, really good when I do it. Then I wake up the next day and I'll either have some black coffee or some salty stock, not salty stock, salty water, or like a Perrier or Pellegrino water, and I go throughout my day and I sip and I drink on that. There was like Tuesday, I had a Bang energy drink, and I think Thursday or Friday I had one, and then I did that all week. I mean, literally all weekend. I just kept losing 1 pound to 2 pounds every single day. And then when I refed Saturday night, Sunday, I was we went to the auto show here in Chicago, and there was all the different vendors and stuff like that, and it had been a while since I did anything with like sugary food, and I thought, well, maybe reload with carbs early on in the day, give myself a few hour fasted break, have my two New York strips before I go to bed, about 1 pound a piece, and then just go back into fasting again. So that's what I did. I had about 150 grams of carbs earlier on in the day from not desirable choices. Let's just put it that way. And I gave myself about a 4 to 6 hour break in between that and dinner. And I had two New York strips, and then I went to bed. And I woke up and I started doing the same fasting regimen again. And that's what I've been doing so far is Monday through today, water, salt, stock before bed, sleep, repeat, that kind of deal, and just stay active throughout the day. And I've noticed that my inflammation has went down substantially. My body feels really good. I'm able to move around at work really, really well. My pants, my shirts and stuff are fitting me, really loose. My pants fit me a lot better. My shirts are extremely loose to the point where they look like they're baggy falling off of me. Um, at work anyway, and it's I feel good, and that's basically how the last couple of weeks has went. The ironic thing is, I shared my story in my complete write up on what I'm doing on my personal platform, like on my Facebook page. Everybody was super supportive. Hey, keep doing what you're doing and stuff like that. Don't stop. You're going in the right direction. We see the improvements. Your face is smaller. You seem like you're happier. Shared on my private Facebook group, Carnivore Keto Nation official. Everybody's super supportive, all nothing but positive things to say. But I kind of did put a disclaimer in there, like, look, if you have anything negative to say about this, I'm just gonna block you because I really don't feel like having to deal with somebody else's mouth. I know this is not the ideal way that you guys would fast and do things, but this is what I'm doing, and I've tried the Barry way and the Westman way and the Paul way and the Michaela Peterson way and all this other stuff. I've tried all that stuff, and it's worked a little bit from time to time. But a lot of them, they're not on point with what they recommend for everybody anyway, and each one of us are completely different. So, um, it's working for me. 16 pounds down since last Monday, and I share it on my personal platforms that I'm involved with the most, and people are super supportive. I go to Fathead, and I go to the group Fathead, and I share my story there and what I've been doing, and lo and behold, the first dogmatic person pops up, some lean mass biker from Washington or somewhere that I guess some prick that doesn't have anything better to say other than whatever he wants to say, and he has to spout off at the mouth that that's like somebody saying that I'm not going to do cocaine all week, and then all of a sudden I'm look forward to it on the weekend, and then indulge in cocaine and then go right back to it. I don't know where people get off um, constantly coming up with these dogmatic analogies and stuff like that, and then trying to make people feel bad for being successful in their life. And that's exactly what this guy did. He was like straight hardcore, talking trash to me, no respect at all, kind of just let it fly, and they think these are the people that are, that always have something to say about a person's problem or their stall or their health concern. Like they automatically have the answer for it, or they should be considered immediately because of their status in life. Well, I got news for you. There's not a Barry, a Paul, a Josh Axe, a Jillian Michaels. Nobody automatically gets the right to speak and have something to say in your life. These are just people like we are. At the end of the day, when they lay down to go to sleep, their heart beats, blood flows through their body, they breathe air, they have to eat, they have to pay their taxes, they have to live and die. That's it. So you don't get any kind of say so in anybody's life just because you reserve the right because of your status in life. You don't reserve that right. That's not your right. So luckily I am the person that I am, and I've been doing it as long as I have because I just deleted the post and said, you know what, I just don't want to even have to deal with somebody like this. And there's probably a lot more people like this. Those are the toxic people in life that would never say things to you face to face like that because they're probably afraid they'd get their teeth knocked out their asshole. But at the end of the day, they're bullies. They're behind a keyboard. They can't do anything else other than be behind a keyboard because in real life, nothing like that would ever come out of them in that way. And it's sad that we have people like that because we don't ever, a lot of us don't step back and see how many more people could I help if I wasn't like that? How many more people could I help if I didn't always resort to the worst analogy of, you doing that all week and fasting and then having some carbs on the weekends is like a crackhead waiting all week to not have crack, and then all of a sudden, your analogy would only work if I was an addict. Your analogy would only work if that's something that I was actually looking forward to. It was just a choice that I made on a whim, and I tried it out. 16 pounds down in less than 2 weeks is damn good. It's very, very good. So that's how my fasting experience has been so far. And a lot of people get jealous. A lot of people have negative things to say because they think they're smarter than you or they have something better to say than you. To move on to other subjects, this morning I noticed that somebody had posted in the Fathead group about Frank Tufano. And it's a person that I haven't seen post before. So I think it's like one of his little groupies or something like that that has been the last couple days posting his videos. One of the videos that he posted, or that this person posted this morning, was Frank talking about people giving advice and saying that conventional beef, fish, whatever it may be, is okay, and that he's saying it's really not. This is the type of mentality that we get when we deal with people that have never done anything with their life. Frank has never held a job. Frank has never consistently done anything in his life long enough to say he's good at something other than doing this YouTube stuff. Frank has constantly bashed people online for not accepting for them not accepting him into the professional carnivore circle because he's not a professional. He's a YouTuber that reads information off the Weston Price Foundation and then he regurgitates it for other people, and he admits this, and people don't understand that. He works off of a prompter or a script, and he writes notes and stuff down, and that's what he reads off of, and that's why he flows like he does when he does it, and he's throwing his hands all over the place when he's doing his video and all this other stuff. It's all scripted. He practices it before he even gets on. So it's not like Frank does the research or he goes and he's clinically doing the trials and stuff like that. So then people take that type of information and they spread it to everybody else. So I click on the video just to read or just to hear what's going on, because I see a picture of vomit coming out of his mouth, and then just moments into the video he posts a picture of people in the carnivore community that are taking advantage of other people or that are giving poor information. And one of those people on there is like Bart Kay, Michaela Peterson, some pretty big faces on this little slide picture that he puts up. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this dude's deal? Does he just never give up? Does he just never stop bashing people? Does he never quit trying to pull away from other people that are actually out there doing the interviews and stuff, that are out there bringing people onto their podcasts and talking and stuff like that? I don't really care for Paul Saladino. I don't really care for Michaela Peterson. I don't care for Dr. Berry or any of them, but I do know that they're doing good for people. I don't care for them for my own personal reasons, but I don't come on here every time I get a chance and put them up in a video and try to retract from the very thing that they're doing. And it seems like every time Frank gets a chance to do that, that's what he's doing. He's got to throw somebody under the bus. He's got to make somebody seem like they're less than him, to be that they should be inferior to him. And I just don't get that. Conventional beef is completely fine. Conventional fish and stuff is completely fine. Is it the best? Absolutely not. Nobody is saying that feedlot beef and fish and all these other things are any better than grass-fed. Grass-fed is substantially better. But then when you get to grass-fed, you have to question the quality of how these cows are grass-fed. Is the soil, is the grass grown? See, these are some things that Frank doesn't know about. He doesn't have the real world experience raising cattle and farming and stuff like that. I've got all that experience. I've already worked at that. Down in Pocahontas, Arkansas, there's a place called Ace Hardware, and it's a co-op where I would mix fertilizer and stuff and take it out to the farmers, get their combines unstuck, get the trucks and the equipment and stuff unstuck, and see what goes into the operation, work on a farm with cattle and stuff like that, have to slaughter them because they've shit out their intestines and it's causing bacteria infection in the sheep or something. You can't fix that. You have to kill them. I've had to eradicate 400 cats on a property because they've overgrown the property and the coyotes weren't taking care of them. I've had to do all kinds of things that I didn't want to. Put horses down because they're so severely injured it would cost thousands and thousands of dollars to fix them. Go out and clean up the remnant remains of a cow that has been torn apart in the middle of a field by a pack of coyotes or something like that, a calf. Frank doesn't have to go do that stuff. He doesn't have that real world experience going and doing that. All he has to do is read off of a teleprompter or some information that's put out on social media, and then he gives it to the world as if it's his life and he's studied it and he's researched it, and that reserves him the right to go talk bad about other people because he knows he's the one that knows about that stuff when it's not. I'm not talking trash about Frank. I'm giving you the honest truth of what's going on right now. Frank doesn't have the type of experience that he comes across as having. And then, he's made poor choices in the past debating vegan gains. Looked like a complete shit show when he was debating vegan gains. He looked like a toddler that was getting smacked around by his older brother. And the older brother really wasn't even trying. But that was a shit show in itself. That was a disaster. People talked about that for weeks after it happened as if, what are you doing, dude? You're not making this movement look any better. You're debating people that are completely way out of your league, that thrive off of trashing other people and debating them and are really good at it because that's just the kind of thing that they're into, yet you partake in doing the very thing that you shouldn't be doing. That's the type of information that's here. That's the carnivore that we're dealing with that wants to grow as big as he possibly can. He went online and talked about how he's going to start name shaming and shit calling and all this other stuff. Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson, Saladino, Barry, because they didn't accept him at the big boy table, the big carnivore table. So if they didn't start respecting him, he was going to start information dropping it. And they're getting paid by Cargill and everything else, big meat packing companies. I mean, this is the kind of guy that has been doing this stuff consistently for long periods of time, but people keep feeding into this dogmatic perspective that he has, that everything is a certain way. This is a dude that went years on Accutane and let it destroyed him. For him to be the all-knowing person that he is, for years of poor choices and bad choices and stuff like that have led him to show that he's obviously not as smart as he thought he was. But now all of a sudden, overnight, a few years, you become the most knowledgeable person in the world when it comes to nutrients and bioavailability and stuff like that. If you don't get out there and experience the world and do these types of things that you say that can accompany the information you're putting out, how are you supposed to be this super professional? Working on a farm, dealing with cattle, feeding them, trying to figure out the daily ins and outs. I worked a full-time job from 7 o'clock in the morning until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then would get off work and drive across Arkansas to go work as the main farmhand at a 300-acre, 250 head of cattle farm, where I had to be there in the evening time to either administer medication, get the cows and horses in from the field. I had maybe had to sit out there and wait for coyotes to show up that were picking off cattle and kill them in the evening time just so the cattle could thrive off the land. There's a lot of things that go into all this type of stuff for somebody to have say-so and what goes and doesn't go. You can read all the information off the internet that you want, but that doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. That's where the real world experience comes in. That's why I don't like a lot of these carnivore and keto doctors. They can talk about all the stuff they want on the internet, but they have no real life experience doing a lot of the stuff that they do. So this is where it all falls apart for me. Why do people keep regurgitating that information? And then we can step away from all that stuff. And then here comes the gay preference stuff that pops up in videos sometimes, the extra additive information that people seem to like, where he talks about being a gay guy in a video, which I don't have anything against gay people. I got plenty of gay friends. I got plenty of gay people that follow me. Love them. Some of the best people in the world. But Carnivore Frank takes it to a completely different level. People, the joking around in the live chats about, gay this and gay that and everything else has nothing to do with carnivore. It has nothing to do with helping people thrive. But how do you go from bashing people and trying to be completely serious about stuff to talking about all this nonsense online and then trying to be thought of as some kind of professional, but yet still act like an 18-year-old kid that hasn't experienced anything in life yet? I mean, anybody can get money and buy into a company and then find out a little bit about packing meat and meat packing and stuff like that and send it off. He's got his own online company now, but how many times did he go through frustrations with that when it flopped? And more people would come forward with money and money and money and money and then try to promote and fund that. And now he's got his online meat company going on. But didn't Frank just sit online not too long ago and put a cookie up in front of the screen and say, just before that, carnivore was everything. Carnivore, there's no other diet but carnivore, and you need to be doing carnivore, and carnivore is the healthiest, this and that. You shouldn't eat any other foods. Yet he got on the screen and he showed some kind of chocolate chip cookie that his partner made from the most pure, organic, whatever, something flour. But right before that, none of that stuff was even necessary, and said, we're going to be selling this, or this will be available on our website. This is just something that we added on. It's not anything. Come on, guys. I mean, it's a little too much. I mean, if you guys can't read between the lines when it starts coming to that stuff, I know there's going to be some people that respond to this video. They're going to have something negative to say because they think I'm talking bad about Frankie. But it is what it is. Frank is another carnivore face on the internet. They caught a break one day, and people seen the drama and the satire and the nonsense that's going on, and that's what people are attracted to. Frankie is not a serious carnivore. All the big people in the community that actually have something to say about helping people, looking into the research and talking about stuff, they don't want nothing to do with him. There's a reason for it. It's because he's like a big kid in somewhat of a little man's body, and that's what he presents. And that's where this goes. And I just don't understand why people keep playing into that. Frank, I see a lot of Frank's subscribers in the comment section talk about how, oh, Frankie looking all juicy and stuff like that. Frank has gained no size at all. Frank is trying in this battle with vegan gains to show people that he can be as big as vegan gains or this bodybuilder type body. Frank doesn't have that. Back in the day he did. Frank doesn't have that anymore. He's already went online, talked about how it's making him sick from upping his food, so he can't do that. He can't be at the gym. He can't be around all the UF signal or EF signal and all this other shit that he makes up about. I don't want to be around the radios and the cell phones and it makes my brain hurt and I can't sleep and I'm going a third nipple or something like that. Frank does, he's got an excuse for everything. Literally, he's got an excuse for everything. And now all of a sudden he's back at it again and Frank's looking all juicy. Frank's not gained anything. Frank's the same size as he was. It's his subscribers that pump him up and they keep him coming with the drama and stuff like that, and it's just all a shit show to me. I look at the videos that have led up to this, and it seems like there's like no progression. The only progression is subscribers going up and more people buying meat from the company. So I guess if that, at the end of the day, is the goal, it seems to be working pretty well. What if gaining more knowledge and putting more good information out to people is the goal? That ain't happening, because you can only read so much information from somebody's website before you run out of information. And that's the truth. Anyhow, that's the carnivore chat, and the update on me: 16 pounds in under 2 weeks, as of last night, and I'm going to keep going with it. Refeed on the weekend. Maybe I'll go into one meal a day, and need to try to lose as much weight by the end of next month for the hernia surgery. I get a little small, little tiny small hernia that's popping up right by my belly button, so I got to try to lose as much weight as possible for that, and it seems to be working very, very well. On this type of fast, I kind of stepped away from doing it the conventional way, the way Dr. Jason Fung says or anybody else says, and it seems to be working 10 times better than how we've been taught. It seems to be working substantially better than how we've been taught. So to me, it just goes to show that we are each individually different, and we are each individually responsible for our own health. We can only take some information from people and use it to try to help us the best that it possibly can, but all of it is not going to apply. If you don't have anything nice to say about people for the most part, it's probably not a good idea to say it. And if your britches are a little bit too big for that butt, or that butt's a little bit too big for those britches, probably shouldn't try to wear them. And I've been trying to practice that more and more lately, but it seems like certain people don't grow. They don't get any better. And Frank is just one of them where I think a specific type of carnivore crowd, I'm not sure what you're asking, Krusty Panda. This is live. Frank is just a specific type of person where I think a specific type of drama needs to be brought his way. And there are specific people that follow him that they just like that kind of stuff. There's a few carnivores that I refuse to follow. Frank is one of them. I will not follow him. I will not follow Barry. I will not follow Paul Saladino, just for my personal reasons. I don't need to talk trash about him. A lot of you already know my reasons. Daphne Reloaded, she's another one that is just completely out there in La La Land somewhere. She went from being vegan to extreme carnivore, and because I remember back in the day I had a few vegetables on my banner on my page, and she used to like comment on my stuff, and she was like, man, she had substantially more subscribers than me, but she said, she would tell me, you really deserve more subscribers than what you do, because you're real and you're raw and you just say it like it is, and it doesn't matter. And that's true. I don't really care if people like me or not, and there's not a man on this earth that I'm scared of. There's not a person on this earth that I'm scared of. There's only one person that I'm scared of, and that's the big man upstairs. There's not a single person that I honestly feel that could do anything to me to scare me. So that's why I say and kind of do what I do. I live my life free. Yeah, sure you can. I think, to Krusty Panda, I think if you ate sensible amounts of meat and sensible amounts of vegetables, you would be completely fine. Absolutely. But there are people out there that believe vegetables have so many anti-nutrients to them that you shouldn't be eating them at all. That applies for everybody. That's what they believe. And that's honestly not what I believe. I believe vegetables do have anti-nutrients, but I also believe that vegetables that, phytates, salicylates, oxalates, all those things they say are not really good for the body. But that has not come about, that hasn't been 10, 15 years in the making. I would say that's been more talked about the last 3 to 5 years in the making. So there's still a lot to learn about a lot of that stuff. There's still a lot to learn about the anti-nutrients that are in vegetables and things of that nature. So, yeah, we can eat meat and vegetables in sensible amounts. Right, like too much spinach, too much almonds, things like that. The issue that I had with Daphne Reloaded is she was a vegan before, and she went on a carnivore diet. And when she went on a carnivore diet, it started to change her life. She actually started to feel better and look better. Well, we were having, this chat back and forth, and I found her channel, and I was like, man, she's kind of rough around the edges. I kind of like that because it's a little bit like me, except she's a little too far. So I followed her, and I would leave some nice comments on her page supporting her and stuff like that. And then she, you can't remove your face fat. There's no way you can do it. You cannot spot reduce any spot on the body. Your body has to be ready to do it when it's ready to do it. So if you want to remove your face fat, You're going to have to get it cosmetically done, or you're going to have to do forms of fasting or dieting. Um, so Daphne would respond back to me sometimes, and surgery is one way, but it's if you're down to something, let's just say you're like at 16% body fat, or you know, even down to 12% body fat, and your face is still fat, um, yeah, that's the only way you're going to do it. You cannot spot reduce. You have to drop weight overall, and if you don't have weight to drop overall, then you're not going to lose the weight in your face. You got to have weight to lose. Um, Daphne would respond to the things that I would say in the comment section, and we would have a good conversation back and forth. So one day she went over to my channel to subscribe and follow me, and she seen that I had a couple tomatoes and like celery in my banner along with my fish and meat and stuff like that. And she had told me, she said, I'm not gonna follow you. I can't believe you have vegetables in the banner on your page. That's just crazy. And oh my God, you can't do that. And she started flipping the hell out in the comment section. Um, a healthy snack would be like ask for some hard-boiled eggs. If you're into milk, milk can be okay, but you want to get the stuff with the lower sugar. I would say hard-boiled eggs, bacon, beef patties, things of that nature. You can get those in the hospital. If you protein bars are not that great. They're too highly processed, but they can work. You just have to make sure you get stuff like Atkins bars or something that's more like keto, paleo friendly to keep the sugar down. If you're in the hospital, you just have to ask for clean foods. If you're into salads, they have green salads. If you're into like little pieces of egg, no, I mean egg salad would work, but they put a lot of sugar and stuff in egg salad sometimes, so you got to be careful with all that. I would ask for hard-boiled eggs, some beef patties, some bacon, a little bit of real cheese. They have all that stuff there. You just have to ask for it. If you like salads, just ask for a light green salad with nothing on it. Just tell them to put a little shredded cheese on it, some eggs. And you can do ranch dressing. It's low in sugar content, but it's not the cleanest because it does have stuff like maltodextrin in it, cornstarch, things of that nature in it. Um, but it's better than the other dressings that are out there. Or you can just ask for some oil and vinegar on top of it. They can do that too. So there's a number of things you can. You just have to ask them for a menu. A Cliff Bar is not that great. The Cliff Bars actually have lots of ingredients in it that are not ideal. If you can find a clean Cliff Bar, then by all means do it. But Cliff Bars don't. The ingredients are not that healthy. There's a lot of grain and stuff in there that you don't even know where it comes from. So, you know, while you think that you're getting something healthy, it's not necessarily ideal for most people. Yeah, I mean, you don't know how those grains are grown. You don't know any of that. So Daphne came back to the comment section after she seen that I had like a tomato and celery and stuff like that in my banner, and she said, "Well, I can't follow you. You cannot have vegetables in your banner and be keto or carnivore or something, whatever she said." And I was like, "Dude, you need to chill. That banner has been there forever since I started this page. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm here to support you. You can be here to support me. You've already said I put out good content and stuff like that, but now because you've seen a couple vegetables in my banner, you're going to freak out on me." Like literally this went on for a couple days. So I finally got to the point where I was just like, look, I know you were vegan and you went carnivore and it's changed your life, and I know you believe what you believe for a reason, so go do your thing. Obviously, us supporting each other is not going to happen because you got some kind of whack ass views that are way out there somewhere. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You support you, and I'll support me, and we'll move on. So I had to get that toxicity out of my life. It's people like that give the carnivore movement a bad name, but at the same time, it's also people like that get all the subscribers, they get the followers, they get the people that like that dogma, they like that approach. So some of you have told me in the past, you know, hey, why don't you back off on some of that, being straight about people and stuff, and start focusing more on your own content. And I've done that, but it doesn't sell. It doesn't get views. It doesn't do anything. But if I openly talk about things like this, and I get a little bit more rough about it, and a little bit more straight to the point, then people start listening. Then people start considering what you have to say. It seems that just the good, honest, more calmer side of people and their information, it just doesn't sell. People want to hear the meat and potatoes all the time. All the time. And if they can hear that, they're engaged and they stay active. So Let me see, comment section here. You got to have carrots or taters with steak. You don't have to have carrots with taters or steak. I'll sit down and eat New York strip without it, because now you're taking good fats and proteins and you're mixing it with starchy carbohydrates. Now I could see something like a sweet potato in a small amount. Your body can digest that very good. But when you start mixing your fats and your proteins with your sugar, your carbs, and your starches, which are all basically the exact same thing in essence, that's a recipe for disaster. Your body has to digest in a process of elimination. It's going to always go for sugars, starches, carbohydrates, and then you start to break down and build up that blood sugar. Once your body sustains enough energy from sugar, starches, and carbohydrates, you're going to start processing things differently. The order is no longer important. You've already gained most of your energy from a very simple fuel source that spikes your blood sugar, your insulin levels go up, your hormones go out of whack. Now all of a sudden you're doing all these different things and you're still left with proteins and fat to digest and process and shuttle around and move. And this is where plaquing of the arteries comes from. This is where inflammation, CRP levels and stuff go up. So the whole idea of you got to have sweet potato, or you got to have a potato or carrots or something like that with a fatty steak, is not necessarily the ideal situation. A carrots probably wouldn't be a bad thing. A green salad probably wouldn't be a bad thing if that's your thing. But once you start adding starches and carbohydrates and stuff in with that fat and protein, this is where you get that explosion of consistently doing that throughout your whole entire life, where people get, CAC scores of, 100, 200, 300. They get elevated cholesterol levels and stuff like that because of the amount of carbohydrates and sugar going in the body with fats and proteins. Me, I'm still probably 40 pounds overweight easy. And I have the best cholesterol score that I've seen out of all my fellow keto and carnivore peers. I have my LDL, the last it was checked a few months ago, was 89. My HDL was up to 64. My triglycerides were down 52. And my CAC score 0. I was phenomenal. Everything was perfect. Then I eat loads of fat and protein. I mean, gobs of it, to the point where it would probably make most people sick. And I have no issues at all. All I'm doing now is just progressively trying to lose weight. I've reversed my type 2 diabetes and everything. That's where a lot of this bad information by the standard medical crowd and how we grew up needs to be thought of as just exactly that: secondhand, bad, poor information. So this is the point where we all need to tune in with each other and say, maybe we're not looking at this correctly. Maybe we could be doing things differently. Maybe Dr. Jason Fung's method on fasting is not the end all be all. Maybe Rich is onto something with the way he's doing it. Maybe my body needs some kind of reset or healing after 24 hours of fasting, and that's where the extra fatty acids and amino acids come from in the broth that I have before I go to bed. Maybe that very healing power of those amino acids is what's helping him heal each day, and then drop, and then drop, and then drop, and then drop. Maybe that 50 calories from bone broth that Dr. Jason Fung says is ideal is probably not ideal for everybody. Maybe somebody needs twice or 3 times that amount, at the end of the day before they go to bed for extra healing. Maybe there's something going on there that's turning in the right direction because somebody's making a better choice. So that's why I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you for the super chat. I think it's extremely important for each one of us to read things individually. We keep holding on to what one person says as if it's Bible, if it's rule of thumb, or Dr. So-and-so changed my life. Frank changed my life. Sean Baker changed my life. I get that, and they're great people, but realize they've changed your life for you to start looking at things and processing things as an individual. Okay, you've given me a basic plate toolbox of information. Those tools I can pull out and use anytime. But a good technician, a good doctor, anybody that has a set of tools that they have to use never stops with just a basic toolbox of tools. You always want the next best, more advanced thing, right? So as technology progresses, vehicles change, medical changes, we change in life, those tools have to increase. You have to keep adding more tools to the toolbox so you can continue to expand. Have a great day, Tom. And if you continue to do that, you're going to get better and better and better. And that basic amount of information, that trade school that you went to learn the basic principles of what you need to do, expands and expands and expands. and you get better and better and better. And that's where I'm at. I've been doing this for years now. All these guys have influenced my life in some way, shape, or form. Dr. Eric Westman mainly. And I've expanded off of that. I've learned to take his information and apply it to my life in a more expanding fashion so I can add more tools to my toolbox and I can become more knowledgeable in order to help other people and share my story with other people. Let's see here. Does more and more protein. So the whole myth behind protein being harmful is not, it's simply that in itself. Your body's gonna, you need the protein. Everything in your body is built off of some kind of amino acid complex. It comes from some kind of protein source. So for us to think that protein in general is harmful to our body, it's really not. Some people think, well, I have a kidney condition, I have to limit the protein that I have. Well, other people would argue against that and say that's not necessarily the case. What you need to eliminate is the things that are very hard for your kidney to break down those types of things. Protein in itself is not. I wouldn't eat that much processed protein in one day. 4 scoops of protein in one day seems to be a lot, but that's just me. You know, if I looked at the standard 2 scoops of protein, I might be getting somewhere between 25 and say 32 to, let's just go high, 27 to 35 grams of protein. And if I'm doing that from processed powders instead of real food, am I really getting good quality protein? Yes, it can help, and it's probably decent quality, but really is it what I want to be doing? No. I mean, when you drink protein powders and stuff like that, especially lean protein powders, they're very insulinogenic. They take and tax your insulin to a level that other things don't even do. You could take a very, very, very lean protein, like a protein powder that doesn't have any fat content to it, and drink it, and your insulin shuttles through the freaking roof, man. Because it's so lean, it really gets things activated inside there. The insulin goes through the roof, it starts moving things around. It's very insulinogenic. That's why it's good to get a protein source that has some fat to it to balance out that insulin reaction. And if you can do that, like a keto like a MCT protein with MCT oil and protein together, there's a good balance there because it doesn't tax your insulin levels. So you have to remember, everything's about how chemical signaling is sent throughout the body. That's what everything plays off of. Your gut is your number one source of where all the information comes from, but then from there, it's all chemical signaling. So I don't know that I would be consuming 4 scoops of protein powder a day, but if you're happy with it, then do what you got to do. I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to do or what not to do. I just wouldn't be doing it. I might be doing 2 scoops once a day if I needed some extra protein in. But the average person, let's just say the normal, I can't even say normal, let's just say a female, 150 pounds, 5'7", probably would be safe in the ballpark range of something between 80 and 100 grams of protein. But then let's step up to a female that's like 170 pounds. She probably needs something closer to like 95 to 115, 120 grams of protein. And then let's step up to 200 pounds. She probably needs something ballpark, 115 to like 130, 140 grams of protein. And it's a progression that changes as the weight, the body mass changes. And it's not just adipose tissue, it's not just fat that sits all over the body. It's the amount of muscle mass as well that dictates that. So for me, if I was to, out of all the things that I've done over all my years, if I was working with a 170-pound woman or maybe a 180-pound man, I might say, you're probably safe in the ballpark of 100, 110 grams of protein per day. Maybe I would even go up to closer to 130, 140, just because I like the extra amount of protein to make up for the less amount of fat that I want to eat. And then I would try to do something like 100 to 110 grams of fat minimum per day, and then adjust off that. If you're more hungry, then you add more fat. If you're less hungry, then you kind of keep your fat exactly where it is if you can, and that amount of fat will balance out hormones and stuff correctly. There are some people out there in the keto community that are just absolutely absurd with their recommendations as well. So like Stephanie Keto Person, she's another person that just information is just all over the place, dude. I've already had it out with her. I've already talked to her directly. not very bright when it comes to giving recommendations and stuff like that. And it's not that I'm trying to talk bad about her. It's the fact that I'm just being honest. I went straight to her and said, like, look, why are you recommending women eat 200 grams of fat minimum per day? That's disgusting. It's absolutely absurd, and there's no reason for it. That's the minimum recommendation for females, via her opinion on how things should be done, which is absolutely ridiculous. There's People have different thresholds and needs for everything. Minimum 200 grams is crazy. Actually, it's just pretty crazy. Um, if you have any questions now, I'd be willing to wait another 2 minutes on here. But I'm actually going to leave and go to work right now. I'm a tech at a dealership, so uh, I normally start at 8 o'clock, and it's about a 25 minute drive for me, and it's 7:18 right now. So I want to show up on time and a little bit early, which I think that's the right way to do it. So if you have any questions, you can ask them now. If I end this video and say goodbye to you guys, have a great day, you could ask the questions after, and I'd be more than happy. Remember, thumbs up the video, guys, please. Or share it, whatever you got to do. That's the only way my content moves, and I feel like I have some pretty good content. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm not a frou-frou kind of person, snowflake that's going to stroke your feelings and stuff like that. A lot of you are going to get upset with some of the things that I say sometimes, but that's just me. That's how I roll, and that's just it. Honest as it comes, and I don't have no agenda, nothing to hide. The money I make off of this channel goes right back into sending people stuff and Facebook, helping people out. And there's many times where I've found out my subscribers are having a hard time paying their electric bill or cell phone bill or something like that, and some of you can vouch for it. I've done it in the past. Hey, give me your number. Give me the account number on your electric bill, and I'll send it off. That money doesn't stay in my pocket. Everything goes back to the channel because I don't really make enough money to do anything on here. Everything comes out of my own pocket. So if you think I'm here for an agenda or I make money off of this stuff, other than what you guys give me, I don't make anything. So keep that in mind. Thumbs up the video, share the video, and if you got any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I've got a few new Patreon people. I actually only have 2 Patreon people, and they're both subscribers from here recently that have come forward and said, thank you for all you do. You've really helped and changed my life in one way or another. So the least I can do is give back to you, and I really appreciate that, because up until now I just felt like, are these people getting my message, or are they just not? I don't know what to do. Maybe I should end the YouTube channel. And then I started waking up and seeing, actually, people like what you have to say. Just keep doing it. And things have been changing for me. They've been getting a lot better. My life is, I'm very blessed. I've got a great girlfriend. I've got a really, really good job where I make very good money. I don't want or need for anything. I just bought my second vehicle now, and just 9 months ago I was living out of my truck, homeless basically. Some of you know my story, and you can go back in the videos and you'll see just 9 months ago I was literally living out of my truck, and now here I am working a great job, living in a great apartment, still focused on my life and my health. Didn't let it get the best of me, and I'm very blessed. Very blessed. So I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section. You can email me at pasorichard.rp@gmail.com if you have questions there too. That's P as in Paul, O as in Oscar, I as in India, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, O as in Oscar, richard.rp@gmail.com. Ask any questions you want there as well. Tom and some of the other people that message me know I get back to them immediately. I don't make them wait. So thank you guys. Have a blessed day. And again, this is not an attack on any of these people. This is me being just completely open and honest. I don't care if you share this video with them to tell them what I've said. It makes no difference to me. But I just want to be open and honest with you about the things that are going on out in the community, and basically things that are being said. I'm going to get out of here. Time to go to work. Thank you guys.